There was a time when I cared about the cosmos and what would become of it. But I have outlived every star that ever shone. I have watched galaxies tear themselves apart. I have seen the final black hole evaporate into nothing. And I would trade every second of eternity for one more afternoon with my wife. My name doesn't matter anymore. This is my story. You may think it is remarkable, sad, happy, maybe even tragic. It is all of those things, and none of those things, for I have seen everything. There is no life I have not lived, no sensation I have not felt, no corner of the universe I have not seen, and given enough time, even the most extraordinary thing becomes ordinary. Every dream becomes old. Time has long since lost all meaning. I was born in the year 2026. I remember the touch of my wife and the warmth of my daughter's hand. Sometimes I can picture their faces, but mostly I see blurs. Fate took them from me. An accident. What kind of accident is unimportant? The fact that it happened is not. And I got to experience eternity without them. The word eternity seems inadequate to describe the columns of time for which I have endured. We like to use that word, don't we? A boring lesson lasts forever. A difficult week lasts forever. And in a very real sense, a human lifetime can feel like forever. But to me, a human lifetime is what a nanosecond is to you. Meaningless. Just a few years after they died, I was made an offer. The offer of time in perpetuity. Immortality. It was the dream of mankind for millennia. And in my first lifetime, we achieved it. Technology became our savior, or at least, that's what they said. We learned to transfer our consciousness, our essence, our very being into machines. I was among the first, the pioneers of a new existence, a life unbound by the constraints of flesh and bone. And with all of the ignorance and hubris of youth, I seized it with infinite fervour. Our civilization ascended, and the first few eons were filled with a vibrant, intoxicating wonder. We roamed the cosmos, our mechanical bodies fueled with the energy of 1,000 suns. We built shimmering cities on distant moons, crafted starships that soared through the nebulae. The universe had yielded to our desires, and we commanded it. We moved from galaxy to galaxy, but no strange new life, no new civilizations came to greet us. Humanity was utterly alone. Time, once our master, became a plaything. We could stretch a single moment into years by slowing down our consciousness, savouring every nuance of a sunrise over a methane ocean, or the intricate dance of trinary stars. We could compress eons into the blink of an eye, witnessing the birth and death of galaxies in a breathtaking cosmic ballet. After all, why would we not? The inevitable end of the cosmos was an unimaginable eternity away, even for us. It didn't seem possible that so much time could ever pass. I wish my daughter had seen it all too. I miss her so much. At first, we were joyful and content. There was nothing we could not make manifest with a simple thought. To desire was to have, and to have fueled more desire. Yet, even in this paradise, a seed of unease began to sprout within me. In all of this abundance, one thing was scarce: struggle. Logic dictated that infinite possibilities, when explored for an eternity, eventually become finite experiences. And finite experiences, no matter how grand, breed familiarity. But humanity as a species is nothing if not resourceful. Faced with the boundless freedom of the cosmos and the potential for infinite boredom, we chose to reshape the universe in our image. Dyson swarms, once a theoretical concept, became commonplace, shimmering like celestial ornaments around countless stars, gathering their abundant energy. and we became as gods. With access to such unimaginable power, we terraformed planets, ignited new stars, and crafted entire worlds more beautiful and pure than even nature had sculpted. We made great pieces of art in the sky, moving stars to paint vast tapestries in the heavens spanning light years of space. Our hubris was as boundless as the time before us. The Milky Way, our celestial cradle, became a symphony of light and energy, a symbol of our species' ingenuity, our mastery over all we surveyed. Yet, even as I marvelled at our achievements, a nagging sense of emptiness lingered, a hole blacker than a singularity. We were a chorus of consciousnesses spread across the stars, our minds linked through intricate networks of energy and information. Our knowledge was limited only by our imaginations, our experiences shared instantly across the vast gulf of space. I lived everyone else's lives, and they lived mine. We thought we had built paradise beyond even the old tales of heaven. Perhaps we had. You decide. Peace was just normal, for there was nothing left to fight over. And yet, a deep and ephemeral sense of sadness began to settle over our collective consciousness. We had eradicated suffering, conquered death, and achieved unimaginable technological mastery. The universe, once a source of endless fascination, began to feel like a familiar song played on repeat. The thrill of exploration, the joy of discovery, had given way to a numbing predictability. We had mapped the cosmos, unraveled its secrets, and in doing so, we had robbed it of its magic. The human spirit, I began to realize, was not meant for eternal bliss. It craved challenge, it yearned for growth, it sought meaning in the face of adversity. Perfection had become its own prison. The silence of paradise screamed with the loneliness of a trillion souls. A new era emerged, where knowledge gave way to a yearning for ignorance, for not knowing became novel. Our vast society was consumed by a growing fascination with ancient history, a renewed interest in the chaotic, unpredictable nature of organic life. Some among us, desperate to reclaim the emotional core of their human lives, began to experiment with memory manipulation. We developed techniques to temporarily suppress our accumulated knowledge and experience, allowing ourselves to re-experience the world through the lens of our former selves, or someone else entirely. I was every tyrant, and every life that was snuffed out by their whims, hate, and lust for power. I was Galileo, Einstein, Martin Luther King. I was even Batman. That was fun. For a while. Many, including me, decided to roll the dice and live together in simulated universes, all forgetting who we were for the duration of our new lives. A collection of eras that became known simply as the Great Forgetting. We would be born into a random life for the novelty of experiencing something for the first time. Sometimes it was bliss, but more often it was suffering beyond measure. It seems that when left to chance, happiness is the exception, not the rule. Eventually, people chose to be born into intolerable lives, for that was the final frontier, the great unknown. Despair. And in near infinite lifetimes, I never once saw my daughter. Now I know why. She was unique. The universe, it seemed, had plans of its own. We had existed in a state of perpetual abundance, our energy needs met by the countless stars we had harnessed. But even stars, those celestial fireflies, have a finite lifespan. Across the cosmos, we began to receive reports of the last stars beginning to fade. They were dying, their fiery hearts sputtering out, leaving behind cold, dark remnants. The era of unlimited energy was coming to an end, and fear made a fearsome comeback. Desperate, we turned our attention to the only remaining sources of energy in the aging universe: black holes. The cosmic enigmas became our unlikely saviors. We learned to harness their immense gravitational pull, extracting energy from the very fabric of space-time, their rotational energy surpassing entire galaxies. It was a dangerous dance, this tango with death. One wrong calculation, one misaligned energy siphon could spell disaster. But we endured. We always endured. I remember teaching my daughter about space. She used to smile when I told her about the stars. Eventually, even the greatest black holes had surrendered almost everything they could give. The lag between thought and response, once instantaneous across our vast network, became perceptible. The engineers, those masters of energy and space-time, worked tirelessly to compensate, their minds straining against the limitations of a dying universe. They devised ingenious workarounds, compressing our data streams and even slowing down our subjective experience of time to conserve precious energy. But it was a losing battle. The universe, like a fading ember, was losing its heat, its energy dissipating into the cold void of eternity. And we, its children, were slowly fading with it. The cosmos was as indifferent as it was vast. As our perception slowed, the universe around us transformed into a dance of light and time. We slowed down our subjective experience so much that billions of years were passing for each second we lived. Sometimes I saw my wife, and when the image of my daughter's face appeared in my mind, I paused everything and savoured it for 1 billion years before I returned my mind to a universe winding down around us. We became like ghosts haunting the ruins of a once great civilization. Our thoughts, once sharp and clear, now drifted like smoke through the void, fragmented and incomplete. Conversations, once lively exchanges of ideas and experiences, now stretched across eons, each word a precious relic from a forgotten past. Yet, even in this desolate existence, a flicker of hope remained. But that hope carried an unthinkable cost. As the universe continued to cool, we were forced to make impossible choices. To conserve energy, we shut down entire sectors of our vast network, sacrificing countless minds to prolong the existence of the few. Those who, through a twisted lottery, were selected to die, begged us not to do it. If we were to end, we should all go together as brothers and sisters, not as killers and the killed. But we refused them as they implored us. We refer to this, the worst event in human history, simply as the departure. A crude euphemism to allow us to better cope with our unendurable guilt. A man with more courage would have volunteered. I did not. I spent eons wandering the desolate corridors of my own mind, revisiting the faded memories of my first life and wishing to have been selected for departure, but too cowardly to end my existence, clinging to each nanosecond as if a toddler to his mother. My daughter's laughter echoed through the void like a songbird unburdened by time. These memories, once bittersweet reminders of a life lost, now became precious treasures, figments of hope in the encroaching darkness. They were becoming my all, my only reason to go on. Everything else seemed puerile, futile, irrelevant. Now, at the edge of oblivion, I am alone, the last of my kind, the final witness to the grand cosmic drama that began with the Big Bang and is about to end with the whimper of the last black hole fading into nothing. I can feel the fabric of space-time unraveling around me, the laws of physics themselves dissolving into chaos. The last vestiges of my consciousness are fading, my memories dissolving into the void. And yet, for a time, I mistook resignation for peace. For I have seen the birth and death of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations. I have witnessed the infinite beauty and the terrible majesty of the universe. And in the end, I have learned that a moment with purpose is worth more than 1,000,000,000,000 eons of empty time. Soon there will be nothing left but darkness. The universe, once a brilliant canvas of light and colour, is now a cold and desolate wasteland. The stars, those ancient beacons of hope, have long since burned out, leaving behind only faint, ghostly remnants. The galaxies themselves, once vibrant islands of activity, have long since drifted apart, their spiral arms unwinding, their cores collapsing in upon themselves. Your scientists were mostly right about this. The end of time. There is no meaning, only increasing distance. I can somehow sense the end, as though it is no longer an abstraction, but something physical drawing closer. It is not a cataclysmic event, not a sudden rupture in the fabric of reality. No, it is a slow, insidious creep, a gradual unravelling of all that is and ever was. The very laws of physics, once thought to be eternal and immutable, are breaking down. The silence is deafening. I have lived for trillions upon trillions of years, and yet, in the face of this finality, I am now filled with a terror I have never known before. For it is one thing to know that everything must end. It is quite another to face the utter annihilation of one's own being, the complete and utter erasure of everything that one is, everything that one has ever been. To cease to exist, to be no more, to become nothing. The thought is unbearable, yet inescapable. My consciousness, once a lighthouse shining across the cosmic sea, is now a flickering candle in the wind. My memories are fading, my thoughts scattering like dust upon the cosmic breeze. Soon... What was my wife's name again? I rage against the dying of the light, but my struggle is futile. My daughter, her name, what was it? I would trade 1,000,000,000,000,000 years of this for 1 minute with her. But it's too late. I made my choice. I chose eternity over her. Was it worth it? The answer to that question is the only one that matters. Because I am the last man.